Hello everyone, welcome back to Premier League Unfiltered. I hope you're all doing well. The 2026 World Cup has kick-started a few days ago and the vibe is immaculate. And yet somehow the news outside the World Cup is matching the madness on the pitch. First up, let's talk about the biggest story right now. The prices in this transfer market are officially going crazy. Look at the madness happening between City and Forest over Elliot Anderson. City have already come in aggressively, they've laid on two massive bids and the latest worth 121 million, which is 106 million guaranteed plus 15 million in add-ons. I wanted him at Manchester United. He's 23, he's a tremendous talent, he's in the exact Declan Rice mold, and honestly, under Thomas Tuchel, he's likely to start for England at the World Cup. But 125 million for a guy who's essentially had one truly elite breakout season in the Premier League is over the top. It's dictating the market in a dangerous way, and I personally value him somewhere around 90 to 100 million. But what this does is completely break the market for every other club trying to buy a midfielder this summer. Because City are moving so aggressively, City might bid a third time, but it is City's player to lose now. And for United, we've backed off, and quite frankly, we just can't compete with City's financial muscle right now. And it reminds me of January when we looked at Semenyo and he went to City and immediately paid them back by scoring the FA Cup final. City usually stay in that 60 to 70 million spot like Semenyo and Doku, and with Grealish being their only real 100 million spend. But if they're this confident in Anderson, they'll break their own record. And with United backing away from Anderson because of that valuation, it looks like Mateus Fernandes from West Ham is now a most realistic marquee signing to replace Casemiro. But you see, because Forest are asking 125 million for Anderson, West Ham are slapping in an 80 million price tag for Mateus Fernandes. I value Fernandes as a package between 55 to 60 million, and if United do business, it's probably going to be worth 60 million base with add-ons pushing it to 70 to 75 million. It's a bit concerning because it highlights a bigger issue. United are only closing in on players who give us the green light first, like we did with Brian Mbomo and Matthias Cunha last season. We aren't going out there and convincing the absolute elite players of the project anymore. Back in the day, United didn't care. We took Van Persie from Arsenal, we broke British transfer record for Roy Keane, brought in Andy Cole, Dwight York, and even Wayne Rooney, the top targets with the highest valuations. Now we're pushed back by City's financial dominance and recent success, relying on players wanting us rather than us choosing them. And that's why you see Baleba is still in the conversation because he's already given us the green light. So, to give you some clarity on what kind of midfield we are building, I've got the data from the past season. Let's look at our main targets like Elliot Anderson, Tonali, Chomeni, and Fernandes, and Casemiro actually compare across different midfield profiles. First up, if you look at tackles and interceptions per 90, Casemiro has 3.8 and 1.6, and Matthias Fernandes has 2.9 and 1.1, and Elliot Anderson has 2.4 and 1.3, and Sandro Tonali has 2.6 and 1.4, and Chomeni has 3.1 and 1.9. And pass accuracy percentage, Casemiro has 82.1%, Fernandes has 87.4%, Elliot Anderson has 85.2%, and Tonali has 84.8%, and Chomeni has 92.3%. And in terms of the chances created, like key passes per 90, Casemiro has only zero point 0.8, Matthias Fernandes has 1.9, Elliot Anderson has 2.1, Tonali has 1.6, and Chomeni has zero point 0.5. You see, Casemiro gave us the elite defensive volume, nearly 4 tackles a game, but his ball retention at 82% has left us completely exposed in transitions. And if we look at Matthias Fernandes, he doesn't match Casemiro's tackling numbers, but his ball retention is elite at 87.4% and he creates nearly 2 chances a game. So if Anderson goes to City for 120 million, Newcastle will easily demand 100 million for Sandro Tonali because he's a proven European Champions League established player. United won't pay that, and Chumeni would be the dream signing to replace Casemiro, but let's be honest, that's far-fetched right now. He's playing for France at the World Cup and we won't get any clarity there for a month. So at the moment, it looks like Edison is already signed for United, Fernandes is the marquee replacement for Casemiro, and then a smart squad signing to add depth. And don't be surprised if United look at someone like Tyler Adams from Bournemouth. If we need a third midfielder who won't break the bank, it's going to be someone like Tyler Adams, Alex Scott, or even Carlos Baleba to rival Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo. The other breaking news, rumours are flying that both Liverpool and Arsenal are actively moving for Bradley Barcola. He's 23, his progressive carrying stats are in the top 2% in Europe, completely stretches the back line, and he has that devastating 1 versus 1 dribbling ability that completely breaks low blocks. And the word is that Arsenal are looking at him because Mikel Arteta wants some competition with Martinelli and wants to shift Trossard into a more central role. But for Liverpool, this is even more interesting. They're looking at Barcola as the ultimate marquee signing. He can play across the front line, his pressing intensity is perfect for the Premier League, and he gives you that direct explosive output. Alright, now let's pivot to the World Cup. The opening game with Mexico taking on South Africa at the Estadio Azteca. Unbelievable atmosphere. The stadium is pure football heritage. Pele lifting the trophy in the 70s, Maradona's hand of God and masterclass in the 86, and honestly, it feels like the stadium deserved a semi-final or the final itself. But let's talk about the major factor in the World Cup. That is the conditions and the climate. The heat and humidity are going to be incredibly tricky for the European sides. We've already seen the mandatory cooling breaks midway through each half. This weather is a massive luxury for teams in South America, North America, and even certain Asian teams. Look at Qatar and Australia, both winning their opening matches by adapting to the physical demands much better than their counterparts. And you also have to keep an eye on teams like Ecuador. They are grouped with Germany and they have an incredibly physical defensive spine. Willian Pacho at the back, Arsenal's Nkapia and Moises Caicedo anchoring the midfield. They are built to frustrate elite teams in those hot conditions. But I think European dominance will still be there because of the heat. The teams are going to completely gas out by the 60th minute mark, and this is where games will be decided. It's all about the depth, and while an underdog might match in a European giants in the first 11, top European squads have 50 to 70 million players sitting on the bench ready to come on against tired legs from the 60th to 90th minute, and the squad depth is going to win the tournament. And just to wrap it up, let's talk about the standout performers from the first few days. There are two names you need to watch out for. First is Tyler Adams from the US. Like I said earlier, United are keeping a close tabs on him, and if he has an industrious elite tournament anchoring this US side in their home soil, he's sealing a massive move away from Bournemouth this summer. But the absolute showstopper was Buhari for Morocco against Brazil. He put on a masterclass, completely dominating the midfield in their 1-1 draw. And on the flip side, Brazil midfield was completely non-existent, and even with Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes in there, they got thoroughly out-battled by Morocco's press. Ancelotti has an unbelievable squad, but they looked completely out of sync. And that brings up an incredible stat that is officially working against Brazil and even teams like England and Portugal in this tournament. No country has ever won a FIFA World Cup with a foreign manager. And if you think about it, Ancelotti is Italian, trying to win it with Brazil. Thomas Tuchel is German, leading England. Roberto Martinez leading Portugal. And history says it can't be done. But football is a game of passion, and maybe that national identity connection between a manager and his squad is the missing piece when the pressure reaches the boiling point. So can Thomas Tuchel or Ancelotti or Martinez break a century of football history? We're about to find out in a couple of weeks. So anyways, hit the comments, let me know what you think about the 125 million price tag for Anderson and whether Mateus Fernandes is the right man to replace Casemiro, and your early World Cup predictions. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Take care everyone. Bye bye.